We understand that people have their way that they like to play, that they've developed over the course of Doom Eternal. And what we want to do is challenge players in new ways to try different tools that maybe they haven't used.
I don't think it's an understatement to say that Doom Eternal is one of, if not the most mechanically sound, best designed first-person shooters of all time. Hell, not just first-person shooters, it's easily one of the best designed games of all time. When you take into account the goals of Doom Eternal in terms of what it wants you, the player, to do, it's very clear that it does in fact accomplish those goals with some very clever mechanics and systems. The game will make you move around, switch weapons, constantly make decisions, and have a large erection. Oh my god. Is Doom Eternal perfect? No. But it's pretty damn close. In the Ancient Gods Part 1 DLC, the devs at id demonstrate that not only do they know how to make improvements on their nearly perfect game, they're able to do it in a non-traditional way. There's a bunch of new additions in this DLC, and they're not just fun new features to play around. A lot of the content in the DLC actually addresses the weaker elements from the base game. For example, the lock-on rockets and ballista were a little too strong, and some of the weapon mods were basically neglected or made not really necessary. There's typically two ways developers change elements in their games. They either implement a buff, where they make something better, or a nerf, where something is made worse. So let's look at the lock-on rockets and ballista, as I mentioned before. They do so much damage, arguably too much in a lot of situations. The lock-on rockets turn units like the Whiplash and the Revenant into almost a joke. And in regards to the ballista, well, I think many of us are aware of the Super Shotgun Ballista combo, and I think it's a bit too brain dead at times. Because the ballista does insane damage, works up close and far away, you can often just throw out the ballista in basically any weapon combo with zero consequences. So one obvious way to fix this would be to make the lock-on rockets worse by nerfing the damage, or reducing the firing speed of the ballista, something along those lines. Nerfing the numbers or statistics is a common way developers make changes to their games, but it's not the only way, and it's not what they did in Doom Eternal. Instead of tweaking the numbers, the Doom devs tweaked the design. So let's look at the strengths and weaknesses of the lock-on rockets. They do massive single target damage, but they're a little slow to get started, and the self-damage of rockets make them less than ideal in close quarters. In the base game, most of the levels have big open areas where lock-on rockets thrive, and the self-damage they could inflict doesn't come up all that much. So the arenas in the DLC almost all have corridors or high walls to create more situations where lock-on rockets are harder to use. I really love the arenas in the DLC because they still do have open spaces, but they're divided into sections of the arena, so that you can't really camp an open area forever. At some point, you're probably going to have to move into a corridor because of the natural flow of combat. So you still have moments and opportunities for lock-on rockets, they're just not a dominating weapon choice for the entire fight. And level design isn't the only way the devs tap into the weaknesses of lock-on rockets. They carefully select the right type of enemy units to stuff the player as well.
You have your black belt. This is a fully kitted Slayer. You know, the F-22 has all the missiles and all the guns. And so we have to throw enough at you to be able to account for that and push you, like test your mastery of those tools in new ways, really put you as a combat puzzle, as we say, give you new combat puzzles to solve. The game is really not fun when you're not being pushed.
The DLC introduces invisible whiplashes. Lock-on rockets just straight up don't work on them. You're better off swapping to the remote detonation rockets, and oh, would you look at that? I find myself switching back and forth between lock-on and remote rockets all the time in the DLC, which is great. Doom is about switching weapons, and swapping mods feels like a nice extension of that. As annoying as they may seem at first, I love the invisible whiplashes, and honestly, I'm surprised they didn't add invisible revenants. While the invisible whiplashes straight up take the lock-on rockets out of your hands, pressure units and spirits still allow the player to use lock-on rockets, and in fact sometimes it may even feel like they're required. But unlike with the Revenant and regular whiplashes, when you use the lock-on rockets on these guys, it's not a free kill. You have to do a lot more thinking. Even though they're not a new addition, I feel like Barons are the secret star of the DLC. They throw way more of them at you. They're fast and in your face, so they create similar situations like the corridors and walls of the arena. And they abuse the fact that lock-on rockets take a little bit of time, but you can kill them. In fact, let's look at how Doom wants you to kill a demon. Let's look at a different demon for a second, the Mancubus, probably my favorite demon in terms of design. In other games, like Doom 2 for example, you would probably just pick one gun and shoot at him until he's dead. And to be fair, in Doom Eternal that's still possible, but you could also precision bolt one cannon, ballista the other, one rocket, super shotgun to finish him off. And if you look at your penis right now, you'll notice an erection similar to mine. This is the goal of Doom Eternal, to make you a badass doing cool shit. With every heavy demon, they want you to use combos. And the devs realize that lock-on rockets sometimes go against that goal. So now let's go back to the Baron. I want to use lock-on rockets, but he's too close. So instead I stun him with the microwave beam and then I can use the lock-on rockets. That's the Doom dance right there. But the game would get stale if the only solution for lock-on rockets was just Barons and invisible whiplashes. So that's where the Spirit comes in. It increases the speed and health of the unit it possesses so that any unit can function like the Baron, but with more variety in the behavior. So with the Spirits and the Baron, lock-on rockets don't circumvent the Doom dance. They're just another step in it now.
Obviously, she inhabits other demons and she buffs them, and buffs them in a really unique way. It doesn't just give them more power or more speed. She actually makes it so you can't destroy their weak points and they don't falter from attacks. So that makes them really, really formidable. And again, it breaks you out of your habits. The whole point of these characters. She's also very resistant to ballista shots. When a character is possessed, they kind of make the ballista almost useless, which we know that is a great tool that everybody likes to use, but we wanted to design an AI that would challenge players to do something different.
Once you've killed the possessed demon, the Spirit can only be killed by the microwave beam. In Doom, ammo types are shared across guns. The shotguns share ammo, heavy cannon chain gun share ammo, and the plasma gun and ballista share ammo. So if you're careless with the ballista, you won't be able to kill the Spirit. Against every other enemy, the ballista is still as powerful as it was before. It shoots just as fast, it does the same amount of damage, but just by the Spirit existing, you have to think about the consequences of using it. It's no longer brain dead. You can use the microwave beam to peek at the health of the possessed demon, so maybe use the chainsaw right before you actually kill it to ensure you have enough plasma ammo. We've now added more steps to the ballista's role in the Doom dance. And I just want to point out these aren't the only ways to go about solving these problems. Doom gives you so much freedom because of the faltering and stagger system. It's just that certain weapons before kind of had shortcuts in the Doom dance, but the changes in the DLC have tightened everything up so that everything is part of that dance. I also just want to add that I love that the Spirit required the microwave beam, because before the DLC, I only ever used Heat Blast, but when I saw that the Spirit needed the microwave beam, I decided it was finally time to learn how to effectively use it. I rewatched Under the Mayo's video on the microwave beam. You should also absolutely check it out if you love Doom Eternal. That channel's great. And hey, while I'm shouting out first-person shooter channels, check out my boy Jarek the Gaming Dragon. And so anyway, I finally learned how to use the microwave beam, and holy shit, plasma lock combos are so fucking cool. I'm so glad the game finally encouraged me to get into these situations. All right, now you can take your penis out. I know I am. So the DLC not only made lock-on rockets and the ballista more tactical and fun to use, it made other weapon mods like the microwave beam and the remote detonation rockets more valid. The thing is, with Doom Eternal, all the tools you need to win are right there. You only have to learn how to use them. Doom is an FPS with the depth of a fighting game. And so when the developers have to make changes, they do it in a way that doesn't make the game worse. It instead makes you better. Hey, thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, there's a button for that, and also subscribe if you want to see more of my stuff in the future. And of course, thank you so much to my patrons and Twitch subs. You guys are the best. Alrighty, see you on the flip flap.